Hey everyone, this is Ken Hare with the Greenleaf Community. I'm the director here, and we are providing content that's helpful to you. We're introducing a new series today on health, and we're going to be talking about reducing your med costs. I'll be interviewing Dr. Ben Connor, who got his degree from the University of North Carolina. So I'm just going to give you a number of questions that I think if you answer them will just be very helpful to us. So
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of saving money wherever possible.
So we know that the cost of meds can be challenging with a limited financial resources. And we wonder if you have any tips that would help to reduce costs.
Sure. The first most obvious is to go generic whenever possible.
Okay.
Most pharmacies, you don't even have to ask. If you give them a prescription, they'll fill it with a generic. That's okay. That's just as good as the brand name medication. Many people know that tip, so let's see, what else could I say? Make sure that the person who writes the prescription knows that you would rather have something more economical, because a lot of times what happens is the representatives from the drug companies will come by and say, hey, we've got this wonderful new medication, why don't you give it to all your patients? And the doctor's like, I like to give my patients the best thing, so sure, he or she writes every patient that prescription.
Okay.
But it may be good for somebody who has great insurance and they only pay a couple dollars for that prescription. But if they can't afford it, if their insurance isn't good, or even if they don't have insurance, then it's not doing them any good. I guess what I'm saying is, don't think that just because they wrote a prescription for something expensive, that's the only option. I can't think of a single medicine where there's not older, more affordable things that would work just as good.
Okay. So then
So,
I
to
could
some,
go to my pharmacist and say, hey, please fill this with the generic medicine, please.
yes, and if there is a generic, that's an easy thing to do. And also be sure to tell the person who wrote the prescription that you're looking for affordable, not
Okay.
new high-tech stuff.
Okay. That's helpful. So what does Medicaid cover and what doesn't it cover when it comes to meds?
Medicaid, it varies from state to state.
Okay.
They cover practically every medicine that's not, there's medicines that are more or less optional. I'm thinking especially stuff like Viagra. They won't cover that.
Gotcha.
But blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, they cover very nearly anything you'd want to get filled.
Okay, good. So if for some reason I need other subsidy, are there programs where I can find additional subsidy?
Sure. The person to ask specifics about that would be the pharmacist, because they want to sell you the medicine. That's how they make their money. I am not, it's going to vary a lot from place to place, and I guess situation to situation. But the thing to do would be to ask your pharmacist.
Okay. And you are saying then that if I have a medical checkup when my doctor's writing the prescription, I should definitely say, please give me the medication that's the least expensive.
Yes.
And most effective.
Right. It's always going to be a balance, between effectiveness and cost. But there's some old cheap medicines that are very effective.
Okay. Okay. So let me just ask you a last question here. We talk about reducing our medical costs.
Mm-hmm.
What about just picking a pharmacy? Is there one that's better prices than any other?
Unfortunately, I don't have a list of cheap pharmacies that I could tell you, but if you're using insurance, then it doesn't matter. The price will be the same everywhere. If you're not, then stay away from the chains. Go to an independent pharmacy. They have much more flexibility in their pricing, and yeah.
And can you say something to them or request that? Actually, if you go to a local pharmacy, can you tell them that you need, to get as best option as possible?
It couldn't hurt.
Okay.
I think they keep their prices as low as possible, just routinely, for business reasons. But you tell them your situation.
Okay.
They would work with you. I'm confident, yeah. Whereas the chains wouldn't have that flexibility.
All right. Well, Ben, thank you for your expertise today. Thank you for helping us reduce our med costs. And we will look forward to making some good choices here. Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to jump on here just to also tell you to go and check out GoodRx, and you can find that at GoodRx.com. They're a company that will help reduce your medical costs up to 80%, and it's worth checking out.